When you first meet a girl and she's pretty, she's nice, she's into you, it's very easy to get carried away. Your mind starts racing. You start thinking, she's amazing, she could be the one, this could be it. It's very easy to lose yourself in fantasy, especially if it's been a long time since you've met anyone who's actually half decent. But you need to slow down and be aware that you have a very strong confirmation bias operating. You want this to work. You want her to be perfect. And so you have this very intense filter operating so that everything she does, you see it in a positive light. Hopefully, I don't need to tell you how dangerous it is to see a woman through rose-colored glasses and to only be paying attention to the fantasy instead of the reality of who she is. The truth is that initial rush of feelings of infatuation and obsession about somebody is not a good indicator of long-term compatibility. Just because in the beginning stages a woman is able to make you feel things does not mean that she's high quality. People are complex, and women in particular are very good at putting their best foot forward at the beginning. On the first date, she might be bright and bubbly, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's an accurate representation of her personality. It could just be a persona that she uses on dates to lure men into relationships, whereas her actual personality is completely toxic. This is a very real danger because a relationship with a low quality woman is a nightmare. You need more time to be able to judge whether or not a woman is high quality. And to assist you in that, I've put together a short list of 10 things that you should look for in a woman to test her quality. Number 1, how does she resolve conflict? Some people say things like, my new girlfriend is amazing. We never fight. We never argue, as though this is some kind of virtue. It's not. It's deeply suspicious. Obviously, a woman who isn't prone to conflict is a good thing. It's nice to be with a woman who has a sweet disposition and a kind personality. But the truth is that disagreements are inevitable. And if your girlfriend never disagrees with anything and you never fight or never argue, then she's probably playing a part. What really matters is not whether or not you have arguments, it's how you resolve them. Is she abusive and manipulative? Is she quick to anger and ready to assign blame? Or is she more calm and more rational and she's able to take personal responsibility? You really can't know whether or not a woman is high quality until after you've had an argument with her and witnessed firsthand how she resolves conflict. Number 2, how is she around children? Not every woman is ready to have children, but a high quality woman should at least be in touch with her biological instincts, which tell her to love and show care for children and babies. Sometimes you'll find that this manifests as a love of animals, something that is a bit more needy and dependent upon her, and she likes to show affection towards that being. The thing is that even if you are not personally ready to have children, it's important to see some evidence of femininity. If she's really awkward around small children, or she thinks that babies are gross and annoying, then there's reason to be concerned. Number 3, what does she spend her money on? You can always judge somebody more accurately based on their actions rather than their words. And so if you want to know where someone's true priorities lie, it's a good idea to look at what they're spending their money on. Some women might talk a big game about minimalist living and saving for the future, but if you actually look at their credit card statement, you'll see that it's filled with luxury beauty products and other impractical impulse purchases. In a long-term relationship, in all likelihood, you'll be combining your finances with hers. And so before you get too carried away, you want to find out what kind of a relationship does this woman have with money. Number 4, what's she like around other people? You cannot totally know what someone's personality is like based just off one-on-one interactions. Some women are social chameleons and they will change their personalities based on who they're around. When you're one-on-one with a woman, you might think that she's perfect because that's how she presents herself. But what if it's just an act? What if she's just being the person that she thinks you want her to be? What you need to do is bring her to other social situations, to watch her interact with other people so that you can test for consistency. Hang out with her and her friends and look to see how she responds to them and how they respond to her. Hang out with your friends and observe, does she change in any way? How does she interact with them? Does she pay more attention to you? Does she get carried away with other male attention? Is she flirting with other guys? Spend time with her parents. That can be very revealing. You can learn a lot about how a woman is likely to treat you in a relationship based on how she treats her father. All of this time that you spend around other people is really good insurance against the danger of being fooled. Number 5, how does she treat you when you lose? If you're a high quality guy, Of course she's nice to you because you are the prize that's appealing to her hypergamy and she wants to secure a commitment. But what if something bad happens? What if you lose your job or somebody close to you dies? Or, and this is a really good test, what if you get physically sick? If temporary circumstances means that you are not able to give her that full experience of the high quality man, how does she respond to that? Does she get angry and upset and start looking around for replacement guys? Because if so, thank God you got the flu and you found out now. When you get physically sick, you may need her to physically take care of you. And if she's not willing to do that, well, good thing to know now before you committed any further. A high quality woman obviously wants her man to be strong and on top of things and winning, but she's also rational enough to realize that a relationship involves give and take. The two of you are on the same team and she's happy to support you when you're down because, after all, you supported her and you're entitled to expect that from your partner. Number 6. You have talked about her past relationships. She was single before she met you, and it's important to know why. She had past relationships, and you should find out why didn't they work out. The most foolish thing that you can do is assume that the woman who's sitting in front of you is some perfect angel who is just lying there dormant, waiting to be activated by your presence when you came into her life. No, she's her own person and she had a life before she met you. If you want to find out what kind of a future you're likely to have with her, then find out about her past because that's the best indicator. In particular, when talking about her past boyfriends, you want to be on the lookout for any signs of selfish or lazy behavior, any bad judgment, any indication that she's not likely to take responsibility for her own behavior. Those are all very concerning red flags. Number 7, discussing future plans. This one is so obvious, and yet a lot of people get so caught up in the feelings of the moment that they forget to actually talk about the important things. What is it that she wants from her life, and is it the same that you want? Alignment on those practical details is a much better predictor of long-term happiness and relationship longevity than those feelings of infatuation you get at the beginning. Before you get too carried away, make sure you actually sit down with her and compare life goals and values. Number 8, find out what she thinks of you. There's nothing worse than one-sided affection. So before you develop really strong feelings for a woman, you need to find out how she feels about you. This is not just because it's much easier in the relationship dynamic if she's the one that is chasing you. It's because how she feels about you is a good test of her judgment. Now, assuming that you're a high quality man, you have high self-esteem and a really positive opinion of yourself, the best test that you can give another person to see if they have good judgment is to find out how they feel about you. You need to find out whether or not they can see and appreciate your good qualities. If she's able to recognize those qualities that make you stand out and obviously a high quality man, then you've got yourself a high quality woman. But if she can't tell the difference between you and the average guy off the street, then there's no sophistication to her judgment and she's not a high quality woman. Remember though, for that test to work, you have to be a high quality man. If you're a low value male and she doesn't think that there's much that's special about you, you can't really blame that on her. She's actually seeing you accurately. Number 9, how she responds to your emotions. I've spoken before about how if men get too emotional too quickly, then it can kill any attraction that the woman might feel because there's no demonstration there of masculinity. I stand by that. Men need to hold back on showing too many emotions in the early stages of a relationship. But obviously, if you're going to spend your entire life with somebody, at some point you need to leave that mysterious, fun, flirtatious stage and actually be in a real partnership. If you're going to spend your life with somebody, you want that person to be able to receive your emotions. So before you commit to a woman or consider her to be high quality, you need to test her. You need to see how she handles male emotions. If she shames you, tells you to toughen up, to man up, real men don't cry, makes you feel bad about any emotional display, then don't be in a relationship with her because it's going to be hellish. You're going to feel imprisoned. What you're looking for is a woman who has more emotional depth, who recognizes that seeing this emotional display from you, that's a gem, that's a treasure, that's something very private and special that not many people get to see. And she feels honored and loved that you were able to trust her enough to be able to show her that. Number 10, physical intimacy. Some women might have a mind that really excites you. She's really intelligent, she's funny, she's creative, She has a way of seeing life that you really resonate with. But just because somebody can intellectually stimulate you does not mean that you're necessarily meant to date that person. Sometimes a man and a woman will get together and they'll have such a good time that they'll assume that they're meant to be romantic, and so they'll start walking down that road. And only when it's too late do they start to realize that there actually wasn't any romantic connection between the two of them. They were better off as friends. That's really awkward when that happens, because by starting off things romantically, you've potentially sabotaged what could have been a fantastic, long-lasting friendship. The best way to find out whether or not you've got the appropriate chemistry with somebody is with physical intimacy. Kiss her, touch her, move your body close to hers. The cognitive mind is not where attraction occurs. It's in the cells of your biology, and you need to find out if they're on board before you start making any commitments. I'm not saying that you need to sleep with her. I'm just saying enough physical intimacy that you know that there's a genuine connection there, a sexual attraction. So that's the list. Do not rush to a commitment, and don't get so lost in fantasy that you project the image of a high-quality woman onto her just because you're desperate. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Make sure she's gone through all of these tests, and only if she passes them can you be confident that you found yourself a great girl. Can you turn a hoe into a housewife? What exactly constitutes a date these days, and why is it that men and women seem to view problems differently? All of these topics and many more are available exclusively to my Patreon page. This includes my latest video, Is it possible for men to play too hard to get? In this video, I explain why the problem is rare and that it's much more common for men to be making themselves too available. But I also talk about the dangers of not committing quickly enough and potentially losing out on a high quality girl. I share the details of personal conversations that I've had with men who let the love of their life get away, as well as advice on how to strike the right balance between being available and interested, but not desperate. If you've been confused about exactly how much interest to show women at the beginning of a relationship, I highly recommend you check out this video. For every video that I post here on YouTube, I post an additional bonus video on my Patreon page. That means that at the moment, you're only seeing half of the total content that I create. If you would like access to the other half, then please go and sign up at my Patreon. It's just a $5 a month subscription, and you get instant access to a whole bunch of exclusive content. It's a wonderful way to support the channel, and I would love to see you over there.